Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Soggy Kookaburra podcast. And this is a podcast all about my crafting, which is mostly knitting and crochet. So making all of the things. Today is the 1st of April, 2018. Happy Easter to those of you who celebrate and happy Sunday to those of you who don't. So my name's Kathy. I live in a small town in North Wales in the United Kingdom, and I live here with my husband, our teenage son, and our two cats, Pickle and Puka. You can find me on Ravelry as Kiltar, and all of the show notes and everything that I reference will be down below in the information bar. So let's jump straight into the crafty content. First up, works in progress. So I always have a few works in progress on the go. I'm terrified of becoming bored of anything, so if I have multiple projects on the go, it means I've always got something I fancy doing. First up, a pair of socks. I knit a lot of socks. I'm a relatively new knitter. In fact, I literally only learnt to knit so I could make socks. So I'm not very adventurous, but it's something that I'm really hoping to push forward with, and I'm hoping that doing this podcast will help with that. It will help me push myself and do something a bit different. So these are my bluey green Topaz, I think they're called, vanilla socks. I really like vanilla socks because they're a bit mindless, which is really great when I'm watching telly or whatever. So this is the, let's have a think, it's Sock Yeah is the brand by, is it Coop or Co-op Knits? It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, which I found is my favourite type of blend for sock yarns. It's in this beautiful topaz colour. It's actually 113 is the colourway number. And as you can see, I'm past the heel flap. It's just a vanilla sock pattern. It's got a modified Eye of Partridge heel, which again I quite like. It's really easy. I can't screw it up. So yeah, I've already completed one sock. So these are very nearly a finished object. Hopefully by the next time I podcast these will be finished. So they're lovely. And the yarn is so soft. Even though it's just the superwash merino and the nylon, it's really, really soft. So I'm really, really enjoying that. A nice plain pair of yarn. And I'm thinking with my little leftover balls, when I've finished them, I'm probably going to use them for contrast toes and heels with another one. So that's my first work in progress, and just in a little bag that I got from a charity shop. Not very classy, but it does the job. Second work in progress, another pair of socks. You'll be surprised. These ones I am not anywhere near as far along with, but these are for my wonderful brother Sam, who lives back in Australia. And they are oh so stripy. I actually made a pair out of this yarn for my mum, and I think my brother saw it and thought, yeah, I need some of those in my life. So yeah, it's West Yorkshire spinner yarn in the Mojito colourway. I've only just started this pair really. I'm just up to the heel flap, and it's 25% nylon. I think it's 35% blue flace Leicester, and the rest is superwash merino. So a really good sturdy yarn. They're quite, is it toothy? They're a bit scratchy, but once they've been through the wash, they seem to soften up quite well. And again, it's just another vanilla pattern, nice and easy. In a rather funky project bag. I got this from just one of the cheap shops around North Wales. I think it's supposed to be a toiletries bag, but I like project bags with zips because I tend to throw them into my handbag or into a carrier bag when I'm going anywhere, and a zip stops all the bits coming out. My third sock project is a pair for my long-suffering husband. I actually made him his first pair about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe not even that long ago, and he really, really likes them, says they're really comfortable. So I picked out this yarn. Isn't that awesome? So it's another West Yorkshire Spinners. I think the colourway is Peacock, Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it's called. But again, it's another 75% 75% wool, 25% nylon, and I think of that, 35% of it is Blueface Leicester, I think. So again, it's quite a little bit scritchy, but it does seem to soften up in the wash. So that's quite good. But I love the pattern on that. I just love it. It's so nice. So nice. So yeah, again, I'm really not even up to the heel on those, but when I fancy doing them, that's what I do. And that I've got in a proper project bag. Isn't that cute? Which I got from Abercarn Fabrics down in Holywell. So that's a local craft store to me, and it's amazing. It's like an emporium. I think they've got quite a few stores all over the UK, but the big store is down near me in North Wales. But it's just the right size for an enormous pair of socks for my husband. So that's all my socks. The other project I'm working on at the moment, and I have been working on this for, oh my gosh, so long. Months and months and months and months and months. I started out as a crocheter. And once I'd kind of done multiple years of hats and scarves and shawls and blankets, I decided to challenge myself. And I decided to challenge myself with a sweater. Now, I've never made a garment before, other than socks, and I don't think they count. So I challenged myself to make, it is an over easy cowl neck pullover, and it's by the Caron design team. So that's what it's going to look like, eventually, hopefully. But because I'm crazy and I don't like solid colours, I bought this really amazing kind of autumnal colourway. So I don't know whether you can see that. This is one of the panels, the front panel, I think. And it's got purples, and it's got, I'll just bring it right up to you, purples and oranges and greys and pinks and browns. Anyway, it's huge. I mean, and that's what I wanted. So you can see this is like, I'll just stand up a bit. Whoop. This is, I think, actually the back panel, but I mean, it's huge, but I wanted a big squidgy, squashy winter jumper. Never mind that we're coming into spring, that doesn't matter, I'm always cold. So yeah, and I just love it. And the yarn I bought for this, let's see if I've got a ball floating around somewhere. It's just acrylic, you know, because we all start out with acrylic, don't we? Let's be honest. And frankly, it's very, very cheap. Cheap and cheerful, but it's squidgy and it's soft, and you can put it in the washing machine. And it's James C. Brett Marble. I don't know whether it's got a very uninspiring name. It's MT27. But anyway, it's just lovely. I saw it in, I think I bought it in Hobbycraft. I saw it and I thought, oh, do you know what? They had buy one, get one free. Yeah, that was it. Got it. So it's lovely. It's so squishy and warm. So I have done the front panel, the back panel, and it's got this lovely rib at the bottom. Let's do that. Which is quite nice. It's all crocheted, by the way. It's not knitted. I've never knitted a garment. It is on my list. I'm going to knit something other than a pair of socks. So I've done the front panel, I've done the back panel, and I've done one of the sleeves. And the sleeves have got this really interesting detail about halfway up. Can you see that? That's, yeah, so quite interesting. Now, it's not going to match, you know, because it's a variegated yarn. It's not going to match, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm quite happy with that. So I've done one sleeve, and I'm about halfway through the second sleeve. So once I've finished that, it all needs sewing together, and then there's the big cowl piece, which I love a good cowl. It saves me wearing a scarf, so it's then just this piece. So yeah, that's been in my long-term works in progress box for literally at least 18 months. But that's okay, I'm working on it now. And hopefully by the time I podcast next, that will be a finished object too. So that's all my works in progress. Talking of finished objects, let me just grab a mouthful of coffee. So, finished objects. I've only got two because this whole podcast thing was, although I've been thinking about it for quite some time, it's only really this weekend I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do it. So I've really only got two. First, you won't be surprised to know, pair of socks. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, for those of you who know me in real life, you will have seen these. They are probably a bit too big for the sock blockers, actually. But they are lovely squishy. They're a little, to be honest, they are a little bit too big for me. I did make them ever so slightly too big, and they've been through the wash a few times, so they're a bit fuzzy. But they are lovely. So this is Debbie Bliss Luxury Rialto yarn, sock yarn. I can't remember what the percentages are. I think it's probably a 75-25% because that tends to be my preference. It's lovely and soft. It's got these wonderful bluey green colours as well as the purple, which is my favourite colour. You can see. And it's just a Kitchener toe. They're a bit fuzzy because they have been worn quite a few times. And a modified eye of partridge heel as normal. So yeah, I love these. I wear them all the time. And it's only the second pair of socks I've actually made for myself. I've made quite a few for other people, but that's why I'm making those blue ones for me as well, because I do like them. And the other finished object that I have, so we've just moved house, literally last weekend, and we actually, well, our new neighbour came by the day we were moving and, you know, gave us a little card and said, welcome to the neighbourhood. Anyway, a really lovely lady called Joanne. And I thought, well, do you know what? You know, I'd like to thank her for that because that was really, really lovely. You know, it's such a stressful thing moving house. And I thought, oh, well, you know, that's really sweet of her. And actually, since then, our other neighbours have actually popped in with a card as well. So I'm going to go and say hello to them as well. But Joanne is a lovely lady. And I thought, well, I'd like to make her something for Easter and just as a bit of a thank you. So my fallback gift are these lovely Ruffle Scarves. So I absolutely love it. It's just knitted, really, really simple, but it looks so, you know, so complicated. It's actually really warm, although it's 100% acrylic. It's Red Heart Boutique Sashay yarn. Now I've made over the years, look at that, isn't that lovely? Over the years I have made probably close to 30 of these. I made them all for my family for Christmas one year. I made them for all the girls in the office. They're lovely, and it's soft and it's squishy and it's really, really quick and easy. And I get the yarn from the States because I have not been able to find it in the UK. So I order small quantities so I don't have to pay the customs tax, and yeah, just I'll quite often add them to an order that I'm doing anyway. So I've made that, which I'm really, really pleased with. It's such lovely autumnal colours, and I hope that Joanne likes them. I think she probably will. And if she doesn't, she's probably far too polite to say anything. So yeah, so they're my two finished objects. One of my favourite parts of watching other podcasts, and I watch quite a few crafty video podcasts every week. One of my favourite parts is stash enhancement or yarn piggery or whatever you want to call it. It's the getting of the new things. So I thought I'd also include a yarn stash enhancement section in my podcast. So this little stash was a gift from my very good friend who lives over in the US, New York. And she shares my obsession with all of the yarn. She puts my stash to shame. And anyway, very, very kind of her. About a month ago, I got a package. I'd come home from work after a particularly hard day, and I had this lovely package from her, and she'd sent me a care package. And in amongst it, of course, was the yarny goodness. So it all came in this fantastic bag. Isn't that fantastic? The stash struggle is real. Absolutely love it. So it's just like a little canvas bag. It's absolutely ideal. I love bags. I have so many little stash bags everywhere. Anyway, so one of the things, I went over to the States last October, just for a week to visit my friend. And of course we went to all of the yarn shops everywhere. And one of the things I really, really enjoyed was places like Michael's or Joanne's. They had a very small selection of sock yarn, but it was really, really cheap. I mean, compared to a lot of the stuff over here anyway. And it was different stuff. Different stuff is good. So Emma, my friend, obviously saw and understood my obsession and bought me a few skeins of the sock yarn that I really enjoyed over there. So this is the first one. It's 2 50-gram balls. It's Deborah Norvill Premier Yarns. It's a self-striping yarn and it's called Surf. And can you see? It's just all the colours. It actually reminds me of my best friend because his house is decorated, or his living room is decorated with that kind of beachy colour scheme. And it kind of reminds me of that. It's those bluey, greeny colours. It's the sandy colours. And there's self-striping, which is always fun. I love self-striping yarn. So yeah, and the nice thing with these is they are, let's have a look. They're 50% superwash merino wool. So that's always good. Nice and sturdy. 25% nylon and 25% rayon made from bamboo. And I actually made my husband's first pair of socks out of the same brand with the bamboo, and it's so soft. And it seems to wear really well as well because he wears his socks all the time. So it's like really, really soft. It's something to do with the bamboo rayon. I don't know why, but yeah, squishy, soft. I love that. So that's the Surf colourway. She also, knowing my colour preferences, bought me 100 grams of same brand, Deborah Norvill Serenity yarn. Oops, that's upside down, never mind. In this lovely violet purple colour, which again, I just love. So that's gonna, I think they might be a pair of socks for me. Selfish knitting. They're just beautiful. And look, they even match my nails. Oh. Lovely again, and it's the superwash merino, 25% nylon and 25% bamboo rayon, and again it's just so lovely and soft. So I can't wait. They're probably next on my needles, I think. Maybe. Don't hold me to it. And the final yarns that she bought me, it's another Premier Yarns brand, but it's not Deborah Norvill, so I've not tried this one before. It's what's it called? Let's have a look. It's the same breakdown, superwash merino, bamboo and nylon, and it's called Viola or Violas. So it's a self-striping, let's turn that around the right way. It's a self-striping yarn, but again it's in those lovely mauves and purples. So really, really pleased with that. So I seem to be able to get I like my socks quite long, with a big cuff, like a 30-row ribbed cuff. I like them that way. And I can usually get a pair of socks out of about 60 grams. So this is 100 grams. So I'm gonna have loads for contrast toes and cuffs and heels for other socks. And because my colour palette does run to purple, matching them up isn't really going to be a problem. So there you are. That's all my works in progress, my finished objects, and my stash enhancement. I think with this being the first episode, I'm going to keep it fairly short so I can get on with the rest of my Sunday and work out how to edit this as well so it goes onto YouTube not looking a complete mess. But thank you for coming along and giving this podcast a try. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up down there. And it'd be really awesome if you want to see when I next upload a video, click the subscribe button, which is the little bell just down below there, and that will notify you when I next upload. Anyway, hope you have a fantastic weekend and I shall see you all again soon. Bye!